What's up, bitty man? It's the Bronco, the frog coming at you with another reaction video. The worst crimes in Reddit history. Now, I've never really been a Reddit user. I've never really been on Reddit, but I heard back in the day, it used to be the wild west. Like these days, people use it for memes and stuff, but back in the day, it was damn near like the dark web or something like that, right? I think I remember hearing the story about a user was asking people literally like how to cover up murder or how to dissolve a dead body or something, and it come to find out, like people was replying like as jokes, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, when he really ended up doing that in real life and getting arrested. And they found that Reddit thread, and now I think Reddit is pretty moderated. And you know, hey, like I say, this is gonna be an interesting ass video. Worst crimes. Let's see what go there.
Reddit, the front page of the internet, home to 1.6 billion monthly active
damn
users.
1.6 for real? Boy, that's damn near a quarter. Don't quote me on that, goddamn it. A quarter is 4 times 1.6. Well, that's not a quarter of the world, but that's still a lot of people. Damn it.
It's an app for everybody, and with that, it has a dark side. This is a journey into Reddit's most disturbing users ever recorded.
I be listening to those Reddit stories too, you know, on TikTok. That's why I know Reddit for. They be telling their stories, but I don't be believing a lot of them. They be. I feel like a lot of them people be capping.
Starting with one of Reddit's oldest users, Carl H. His account opened back in 2006, less than a year after its release. For the first couple of years on Reddit, he was barely known. Most of his activity was on political and religious posts. This is typical on Reddit, and it's what his account looked like for 3 years. But in September 2009, Carl H came up with an idea that would bring him fame in the Reddit world. Carl H made a post on R programming, offering a free programming course where he could share his 15 years of professional programming knowledge. He explained that he really enjoyed teaching other people how to program, and that with some spare time, he could help those running into issues on their programming journey.
Okay, I could have took a little something like that. I wish I would have found that little Reddit post when I was in college. God damn it, I wish, goddamn, phone. I wish I would have been on Reddit. I ain't gonna lie, I took a lot of programming classes back in my day, and I really struggled hard, and I never thought to check Reddit. I was always on Chegg, just cheating, looking for the answers. Reddit really could have helped me out.
He explained that it's just me being nice and hopefully helping.
No charge?
His offer interested many because within the next few hours, the post received hundreds of comments and Carl H's inbox blew up with programming requests. But he didn't just want to help a few people, he wanted to help everybody. So over the next few weeks, he made hundreds of posts as a free course for all levels of skill, from total beginner to expert. Carl H spent much of his day helping users and replying to comments. If you look at his profile history, you'll see thousands of comments.
You're amazed. He was really helping people.
Life a whole lot easier. Carl H was even known to join Skype calls with various users to teach them, even creating a YouTube channel. And so a few months later, he now had over 8,000 followers on Reddit. And this is when he'd open up a free-to-use programming website called computerscienceforeveryone.com.
Is this leading to like he was using his website to post like varieties of illegal activity?
This was a man willing to solve problems and really go the extra mile to help a stranger out. Over 2 years, Carl H gained traction and had over 20,000 followers on his subreddit, and his YouTube channel had over 30,000 subscribers, a phenomenal amount back in 2012. Simply put, the Reddit community loved him. So much so that on July 26, 2012, Carl H received the notable prize Redditor of the Day. But in the middle of November 2013, he suddenly vanished. Both Carl's Reddit and YouTube accounts just ceased operations. The programming subreddits continued, but somebody was missing. The silence was loud and his followers noticed something was off. So after a week, most just assumed he was on a break or too busy with something from work. Some even suggested it could have been health issues. But a couple weeks later, one Reddit user found an article about an individual named Carl Harold, the father of a 9-year-old child. This individual was a single father, left to take care of his boy, and Carl and his son lived with his romantic partner, Charles Dunavant. But Carl's son wasn't getting much of a life. See, the article claimed that after a lengthy FBI investigation, Carl Harold and Charles Dunavant were arrested for creating, participating in, distributing illicit images of an underage child.
It is always something you don't know about these damn folk. Look at him. This is Carl right here. Carl Harold? Maybe that's why he never had a damn profile picture on his. He seems so wholesome and, oh, I'm ready to help some people learn how to program. And the whole time, this man out here, I don't even know if I can say it, but this.
And it was discovered that Carl's child had been held captive in his basement for at least 8 months. He was not allowed to go to school or see a doctor. Instead, it was Carl and his partner who would ethically abuse and film what they were doing, distributing the content online. The FBI found the adult content images posted online, and this led to a full investigation which led to their arrest. The case was ongoing. At first, most of Carl H's followers claimed it was unlikely that this was Carl H. Others claimed that even if it was the same Carl, an arrest didn't mean he's guilty. How was it possible this extremely helpful geeky programmer
people was dying, boy, people was batting out for him too. You don't even know that he's guilty. No one does. I'm not willing to condemn the guy, but I'm not also the sort of person ready to hate everyone off on what I read in these news articles. I'm not trying to downplay at all.
How was it possible this extremely helpful
give Carl a chance to defend himself?
Thousands of people
well, Carl need to hear the hell up.
It didn't seem likely that these two were connected. Just because they had similar initials really didn't mean they were the same person. But because this was Reddit, some people were curious if this really was the same person. And so these Reddit users would go over his Reddit account, where they would find some rather strange posts. In some of his earliest posts, Carl H would defend the Christian faith. And in many of his posts, he would always talk about Christianity. For instance, in this post titled, How Evangelical Children Learn About Abortion, the post brought out the controversial Jesus Camp documentary, and Carl H was in the comments defending Christian camps for children. Quote, as a 12-year-old, I attended a Christian summer camp.
Oh, and this is like sort of the stuff that the boys are making fun of. And it got negative 23 downvotes. That's how you know.
Had a fantastic time, had memories that will live with me forever, and I met new friends, and overall had a great time. There is nothing wrong with a Christian summer camp, and the vile hatred which exists against Christians is just plain wrong and totally unwarranted, which was the first bit of information about his childhood. In other posts he spoke about gay marriage and homosexual activity within the Bible. He explained how the Bible leaves no room for interpretation and that homosexuality was a sin. In fact, many of his posts consisted of these sorts of controversial views, and he was happy to argue with anyone that didn't agree with him. But his religious background and anti-gay views directly contradicted the person in the article.
That's what I was finna say.
This is a pattern that the world has seen time and time again. Anti-gay activists using homophobia as a front to hide their own homosexual tendencies.
Oh, yeah, that's why people always be like, on Twitter, if you argue with anybody, like if you in an argument, like say with somebody who gay or something, they'll be like, you projecting, buddy, you're projecting. Why are you projecting on me? And some people really be doing it. They really be projecting, be in the closet but criticizing gay folk.
A comment was
that was Carl.
Revealed his name. Reddit can make it happen. What's your name? Carl Harold. And another post, Carl H spoke about sexual tendencies.
What did he say?
But eventually a comment was found where Carl revealed his name. Reddit can make it happen. What's your name? Carl Harold.
Rookie
and
mistake.
Another post, Carl H spoke about his own child, saying he'd want to homeschool his 3-year-old. A post he made dating back 6 years.
And then you add it up. 6 plus 3 equals 9. Carl Harold with the 9-year-old son.
His child 9 years old. As soon as this was pointed out, reality settled in. Carl Harold was a kitty toucher and with his own son. All of the talks about Carl H were that of pure hatred. He had hundreds of photos that would make anyone sick to their stomach. People were horrified about the man they were following. According to the reports, it was eventually clear that both men were involved, but for some reason it was said that Carl thought he stood a good chance to win the case. I mean, Carl was facing 18 accounts of charges, including conspiracy to commit sodomy, conspiracy to commit astral charges, and touching under 12 people.
What the hell is sodomy? That don't even sound right. Why does that sound like castrate? What is that like chopping his and sodomy is defined as oral or anal sexual contact. Bro, with your own son? Carl! What happened to the programming?
As well as aggravated child harm, to name a few. When Carl was eventually arrested, the state assigned him a lawyer, who Carl declined and hired his own defense lawyer. However, this would prove to be in vain. Before the set time to appear in court on November 21st, Carl was found dead in his cell, because on November 3rd, Carl had taken his own life. As for his partner in crime, he was eventually sentenced to 56 years in prison. Both news media and his Reddit community showed no remorse, calling him a coward, a man who couldn't face the consequences of his own actions.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime, buddy. Went out like a little hoe. You gonna do all of this, inflict all this damage on your son, do all of this, inflict all this damage on the people who was following you, who looked up to you, and then you gonna take a coward way out like that and end it all? Oh no!
Quote, rest in pain and hope you're in hell. That's how Carl H went from Redditor of the Day to the most hated Redditor.
Come on, Carl.
But hiding who you really are on the internet is pretty simple. And the story of Galacticos is no different. Now, if you've browsed his Reddit account, you think a few things. He loves games, he loves memes, and he's probably a little bit depressed. Galacticos
yeah, something you don't know about people who love, and that's even you who's watching this damn video. You better get that shit checked out right now.
His account on September 2nd, 2017, and he quickly became, well, a nobody on the platform. He spent a lot of time on Reddit making comments on subreddits like r/memes, Fortnite BR, and Ask Reddit. There was nothing that made Galacticos stand out from any other Reddit user. So why is he in this?
People really be chasing Reddit
Over
fame?
the 2 years Galacticos' account was open, he would slowly show signs of depression and alluded to how little he felt about himself. In a Reddit post titled, quote, "People who used to be straight A students but later changed, what happened?" we see Galacticos explain that he's been dealing with depression from when he was in high school. Quote, "Getting A's was super easy for me, but once I got into high school I became depressed. I was able to ace quizzes and tests, but my grade in the class itself would be B's simply because I didn't turn in any of the assignments or labs."
This remind me of a walking class. I accidentally took a running class in college, and I literally did everything that was needed. I literally calculated everything in the class that I could do just so I could pass with a C. So I did like I did 2 of the running assignments and all of the quiz work, but I never did any running assignment outside of those 2 just so I could get a C, because they had me fucked up and they thought I was really finna do all of the damn running miles and recording myself and downloading the app. Y'all had me fucked up if y'all think I was really finna do that.
Whatever. Then over his next few hundred posts on the platform, he'd casually noticed depression more and more. In another post he claimed that he wished his parents were more strict, because now he's a useless waste of space. He joked that he'd wish he was never born, and that he was forced to fake smiles out in public. But once again, in the Reddit world, he went unnoticed. Even if you browsed his average post, it was just a comment on some meme. But behind the scenes, the man behind the screen was a ticking time bomb, and something evil was cooking up inside of his head.
No.
Over time, the posts about self-hate continued. One post on Ask Reddit with the question, "What has been the most depressing moment / realization of your life so far?" Galacticos gave a glimpse of exactly what was going on in his head. "Even though I was lucky enough to be born with a good family, a good home, have good friends, live in one of the most privileged countries in the world, and have the ability to fix any problems I have,
he needs a
to fix
therapist.
any of them, and I'm still unhappy."
School shooter?
Nobody knew, but this person seriously needed help. Unfortunately, he wouldn't get it, and the consequences of this were way worse than you can possibly imagine. Farron Towid was a 19-year-old male who lived in Texas. He was semi-close with his old—
and he's from where I'm from! Did he shoot up a school? Farron Towid. Never heard of him.
older brother, Tanvir Towid. And although he didn't get the best grades in school, he did make it to university. But things didn't work out, as halfway through the year, Farron decided to drop out. So he moved
Boy,
back
they
to his
got some
house in
fucking
Tank. Things
ears
didn't work
on
out,
them.
as halfway
Let
through
me
the year—
chill, but that's probably the reason why people be out there, committing, you feel me? But damn, they got some ears.
Farron decided
I can't even
out.
talk. I got a big ass nose, my ears kind of big, you feel me? I got a long ass head, but I was just saying.
So he moved back to his house in Texas with his family. Farron didn't do too much. He spent a lot of time playing games like Portal and Fortnite, or sat with the family while on his phone, and his online alliance was Galacticos, one he'd chosen when he played Roblox when he was much younger. As you'd expect, Farron struggled with depression. While Farron didn't see a professional earlier in his life, apparently the person he spoke to about his depression didn't help too much. At least he was diagnosed with depression and got some medication, and it did seem like his life was going to get better. Farron and his brother made a 3D graphics engine, which he seemed to be proud of, motivating him to potentially return to college, or so he claimed, but it didn't amount to anything as his self-loathing held him back. Instead, Farron started to watch The Office. It was his only escape from reality, but by the time the show finished, he felt like it was all finished, and he had nothing left to do. And so on the day that Farron finished The Office, he spoke to his brother about depression. His brother was going through similar levels of depression, and so the pair made a pact. They agreed that if their depression wasn't cured within a year, the two would kill their entire family.
Bro, what type of fucking pact is that? I think I remember hearing this. Was this in Mansfield? Or Arlington? I think this was definitely in the DFW area. Bro, you and your own brother made it. So that means their parents did a bad job raising them. It was obviously something to do with the way their parents raised them, fool. Talking about, so we gonna make a pact, and if we're both not depressed, yeah, it's over with. They shook on that? Yeah, bro, let's go ahead and, yeah.
Farron finished The Office, he spoke to his brother about depression. His brother was going through similar levels of depression, and so the pair made a pact. They agreed that if their depression wasn't cured within a year, the two would kill their entire family.
So was he just like, hey, you still depressed? Yup, I'm still depressed too. You know what we gotta do, right?
and turned the guns on themselves. They tried their best to improve, but a year was too long, so the pair changed the agreement to just a month. And many of the posts shown to you earlier was during the last couple of months of his life. And so the brothers started to prepare for their final day together. Tanvir purchased a firearm from the local store without an issue. He explained how easy it was to Farhan, and he said he simply had to lie a little on the application. On April 5th, 2021, authorities were alerted to a very distressing note shared online by Farhan. The Instagram post started with, "Hey everyone, I killed myself and my family," followed by a lengthy post. He went into extreme detail on his decision to end his and his family's life. A friend of Farhan's called the police for a wellness check, but it was too late. As the police entered the property, they were met with a horrifying scene of blood and body.
What did that say? I remember the first time I cut myself and I did it with a pair of craft scissors. The blast was dull. Relief started to kick in. Got addicted to the feeling. Bro, if you have problems, I remember people used to cut themselves in middle school and stuff. Like, the Mexican girls used to cut themselves because of Justin Bieber and shit. But, bro, if you cutting yourself, bro, see a therapist, see somebody for help, bro, you have a problem, fool. Because you can end up like this dude. Oh, my gosh. They talking about he got addicted to the feeling?
Police entered the property. They were met with a horrifying scene of blood and bodies around the house. Farhan's grandmother, who was only there because it was Easter weekend, was also killed. The incident went unnoticed at first, only coming to light due to the concerning message posted online. The two would then take the lives of their family, after which they would take their own life. The police arrived on Monday. The suicide note Farhan posted included statements like, "If I'm gonna die, I might as well get some attention." He shared his struggles with mental health challenges and his journey towards seeking a sense of relief.
This nigga wrote a whole
adding in a
essay
section about why the office should have ended when Michael left. He then added in a section talking about his GitHub. The GitHub had the name Gapticos written in the file names, which was how people online managed to put the Reddit account to the person. And in his message, he shared his thought process behind his actions, highlighting his belief that it would prevent further sadness for others in his family.
Bro, see, this is like, some people be too smart for their own good. Like, motherfuckers like this, literally adding piece here, piece there. Oh, GitHub. Like, I ain't even never heard of GitHub. Oh, I'm going to put a GitHub right here. I know it's a whole bunch of smart ass people on there. I'm going to put my GitHub right here. And then you go send this. And then if you guess what? I'm going to have my Reddit name in the GitHub. You can go to my Reddit and find piece by piece on why I did what I did.
By taking their lives as well. And whilst he didn't reach out for help himself, the next person on our list did. And
Jason
this didn't mean a happy ending. Jason and Hell went to our relationship advice.
He looks
posted
creepy.
A long
he looks creepy. Yeah, he looked like one of them ones. He looked like somebody we don't know about. He looked like somebody should have reported to the damn authorities.
Detailed Reddit post after he'd found out his wife had cheated on him. Quote, "I'm having a hard time coping with my wife having cheated on me with our neighbor." The now deleted post was over 1,700 words long. And as his username suggests, was a story of a person named Jason living with a wife that made him feel like he was living in hell. And Jason and Hell wanted to know if it was his time to take his life. But no one could possibly imagine that this would lead to such a horrifying and tragic outcome. You see, the post starts with Jason and Hell explaining that all his issues started in May 2015. At the time, he was extremely busy with a new project at work and was working very long hours. One of the days he was home, he found that his wife, Brandy Worley, also aged 30, had put a password on her phone, which was odd as she'd never done this before. Finding this unusual, Jason quickly called it out with Brandy. She reasoned that she was planning a Father's Day surprise and that she didn't want him to see and ruin it, but eventually she let out the surprise. Brandy had organised that their neighbour would build an office for him. What struck Jason as odd though was that she said she had felt guilty.
He is over with. He is done. Look at his face. He is over, bro. Like, menace to society at this point.
In all the 6 years that they were married, she said she never regretted anything. So why guilty? Even though the secret was now out, Brandy kept her passcode on the phone, and over the next few weeks, Jason often watched as Brandy smiled at her phone, but if he asked about who she was talking to, she would mumble some excuse and then put her phone away. Finally, Jason felt anxious enough about the situation, waited until she was in the shower, and grabbed the phone before the screen turned off. He opened her messages and found one little suggestive and sexy message sent to his neighbour. The message read, "I'm all covered in frosting."
What? Freaking fraud! Freaking dick! You are the mother of 2 children. You know what's crazy? I look. Never mind.
Didn't overreact. Instead, he justifies it that was probably a bad joke. After all, this was the only message between the two. So a couple weeks pass, the office is taking a long time to complete, and the neighbor is at his house often. Call it intuition, but Jason smells something is up. So he starts looking at Brandy's GPS and discovers that there are time gaps missing from her location. He didn't want to call Brandy out for nothing and start a fight, so he told Brandy that he needed to install a VPN on her phone. In the background, Jason stores a GPS system that he can remotely switch on and off, and an AT&T message backup, so that he can access every message sent to and from his wife. At this point, Brandy was still under the impression that Jason was none the wiser. Soon after this, Brandy takes the kids to Jason's mum for the day, while Jason is at work while also watching the activity on her phone. Brandy first tries to see the neighbor, but he's busy with other projects. So later that evening, Brandy, Jason and the two kids go out to supper with their neighbor, his girlfriend and his son. The ladies enjoy their evening and then suggest they go watch a movie, Magic Mike XXL. Jason then suggests that he and the neighbor will watch the kids. The men are in the living room on the couch opposite each other. The kids are in another room playing, and that's when the messaging starts. Brandy is messaging him about sex acts that she wants to do to him, and the neighbor is responding all the while Jason is reading in real time all the messages between the two. Then she tells the neighbor to
and
go.
then are they sit? He said they sitting in the same room across from each other too.
Sex acts that she wants to do to him, and the neighbor is responding all the while Jason is reading in real time all the messages between the two. Then she tells the neighbor to go look on Snapchat, and there's a picture of her masturbating in a bathroom stall. Then they plan when to have sex, and it was decided on Monday when Jason was at work. Jason's not reacting, but then she says she loves him, and the neighbor says, "You're my girl now." Jason.
Ooh, I ain't saying I understand, but goddamn.
Jason is about to crack, but he somehow keeps composed. Remember, Jason is in the same room as the man he's seeing his wife cheat on him with. But there are kids in the room.
He is disrespecting that man in front of his face. You my girl now. I'm sitting here with your husband right here in front of my face, and I'm letting my nuts hang. You my girl now. Huh? What he gonna do about it? Jason said, watch this.
And he's not a violent person, so he waits. The ladies come back from the movies. Jason makes sure the kids are in another room, and he gets everybody together. He then confronts Brandy and his neighbor. "So, you two love each other, huh?" Brandy flat out denies this, while the neighbor's girlfriend is hitting his neighbor. Then he asks his wife if she was texting him. She denied this until he showed her the messages. She takes ownership, but says it was the first time it had gone so far. Then he asked if she had sent pictures to him. Again, she denied this until he showed her again, and she says it was the first time. He then asks if they're having sex. She says no, and because there's no evidence, Jason is forced to accept her denial. The neighbor's girlfriend defends them, saying that it couldn't have been that serious. But Jason tells Brandy that he is leaving her. Brandy takes this as a moment to manipulate Jason. She explains that even if he tries to leave, she will make sure that she gets custody of the kids. She brings up how Jason attempted suicide and how she could convince the judge he is unfit.
Oh, yeah. He tipped. This is lesson to y'all. Leave people with significant others alone, bro. Leave them folk alone, because you never know what the other person go do if they find out.
The neighbors leave and they fight for the rest of the night. They continue to argue all weekend and decide to separate. That Monday, Jason's in a meeting, and he gets a call from his wife to say that he must come home and explain to the kids why they are leaving. She had told them she had to leave because Daddy was angry at her, and that they had to come with her.
Because your mother is a dumb fucking whore. That's why we gotta leave. Your mother is a whore, sweeties. See out her fucking.
Kids, Tyler, thought that because he had to leave too, Daddy was angry with him too. And of course, Brandy did not correct his assumption. Charlie, at age 2, also ends up crying because her big brother is crying. So then Jason goes home to his crying children and realizes that he is going to damage his kids, so he begs Brandy to stay. And as if Jason hasn't been put through enough already, Brandy has the audacity to order Jason to apologize to the neighbor if she wants her to stay for the kids' sake, as the neighbor's kids are social with their kids. So Jason apologizes even though he didn't want to, and quite frankly, he never should have.
Jason is for sure mentally weak, bro. Ain't no way you out here getting fucked mentally fucked by your wife. You really apologize to the neighbor? The dude who sat there in a room in front of your face texting your wife that's his girl now?
Until a year goes by, and lo and behold, Brandy sends the neighbor another picture, and when confronted, she says it was meant for him. Jason has been enduring this hell for the past year and has come to the end of his tether, which is why he's on Reddit asking what he should do. His marriage is fake, his job has taken a hit, he hardly sleeps, and he's just emotionally spent. The Reddit comments were all straight and direct, some harsh, some comforting, some offering him advice on the legal side of it, but in the end, it was obvious that the majority agreed that he should get out. And
like I say, can't believe you stayed her. Can't believe you begged her to say Reddit gonna tell you how it is. People, they got their own problems on Reddit and whatnot, bro. But real life people, they gonna tell you how it is. You should have smacked the fuck out of that dude. That dude who was talking about some. As soon as you seen that dude said that, got that message that he said that that's his girl now, I would have got up, bro. Smack the blickety blick out his ass, and I guarantee you would have felt better. At least you stand up for your manhood and acting like a man.
Side of it. But in the end, it was obvious that the majority agreed that he should get out.
Look at that, smack to him, go to an attorney with the evidence and talk about ways to get custody, man.
And it did give him the push he needed to get a lawyer and get out of his marriage. He writes back that while he did ask her to go to counseling, she didn't want to fix her. So he has taken their advice and is meeting with a lawyer next week to get himself and the kids out. This is where the story should have ended. Jason would have gotten divorced, as thousands do, and moved on. Sadly though, the day after Brandy got the divorce papers, at 4:45 AM, a 911 call was made that was enough to make you sick.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street.
In what town?
Darlington.
Did she kill him?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
Oh, no! I thought this was going to be a story about how he, like, offed himself and his family, but she did it?
You stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandy Worley.
Brandy what?
Worley.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
911 dispatcher, like, what the fuck?
And where are the children at?
Look at his voice shaking.
In my daughter's room on the floor.
In your daughter's room on the floor? Okay. And what caused you to do this today?
My husband, Jason, maybe.
My husband wanted a divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him find my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3.
Bro.
10 and 3?
7.
7 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
Okay.
So she must be bleeding out.
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Okay, and where are you at?
In my living room.
You're in your living room?
Mm-hmm.
Are you armed now with the knife still?
No, it's in my children's room.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, where's your husband at?
Downstairs somewhere.
Okay, what's his condition?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
And when you say downstairs,
Jason, what the
is he in a
fuck?
basement or?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
Jason.
Is what?
Jason.
Nathan?
Jason.
Jason?
An eerie, calm Brandy tells the dispatcher that she has killed her 7-year-old son and 3-year-old daughter and stabbed herself in the neck. She doesn't sound remorseful or anything. As the dispatcher asks her more questions, you can hear that even he is battling to have empathy. In the middle of the night, she woke up her son and stabbed him to death in her daughter's room. This woke up her daughter, whom she consoled to go back to sleep, and then proceeded to stab her to death as well. The dispatcher asked why she did it, and she simply said that her husband wanted a divorce and wanted to take the kids. When asked where Jason is, Brandy says he's in the basement and she hasn't spoken to him yet. Brandy had called her mother before calling 911, and when her mother came over, the dispatcher asked her to confirm Brandy's story. And upon entering her granddaughter's room, she started screaming, "My babies!" And I just don't know. The police arrived just as the screaming woke Jason. Jason found his mother-in-law in the kitchen screaming. When Brandy sees Jason, she tells him, "Now you can't take my children away from me." Jason hasn't grasped what is going on, but as the police let him out of the house, he hears the report of his 2 deceased children on the radio. Brandy tells the paramedic that she had intended to end her life and that she somehow screwed it up. The autopsy would later show that Brandy had stabbed both children multiple times and saved little effort for herself. It was also later found that it was all premeditated. Earlier that evening, Brandy had gone to the store to buy the knife that she used to kill the children. She had told Jason it was for pipe cleaners for the kids' project. Then she hid the knife in the room. Brandy initially pleaded temporary insanity, but later changed her plea to not guilty. While her lawyers argued that her cold demeanor was a result of her detaching to cope with what she had done, it did not spare her from justice. She was sentenced to 55 years for
Look at that fucking ugly ass motherfucker Jason. This your girl?
the murder of her son and 65 for the murder of her daughter. But on the Reddit side of things, most figured that they'd heard the end of Jason in hell. He went silent for a while. One Reddit user did make the connection of a news article about the death of the 2 children, but making a connection as such was a stretch, so nobody thought much of it. A couple weeks later, Jason in hell returned, confirming what had happened and answer some questions. For Jason, well, his life had just changed in the most drastic way possible. Jason spoke about how he'd have to go back to the house where his children were murdered, and although the cleaners had come and gone, he swore he could still smell blood in his daughter's room. He left the house saying he just couldn't stay there. He also stated that he failed as a father to protect them, and he was also left questioning if he could have stopped her. Brandy suggested sleeping on the couch instead of the mattress in the basement, and Jason often wonders if he had slept on the couch, it might have changed the outcome, or he could have died with them. Jason posted an update, which is just heartbreaking to read. The post tells of thoughts of unaliving herself, and using alcohol as a means of sleep. Fortunately, his family intervened before it became a problem. He also tells how his in-laws continue to be a problem in his life, to the extent that they don't allow him to be at his children's graves unwatched. His parting words are wise and sweet. Jason encourages all to take the time to spend with their loved ones. He ends off saying that he is grateful that his last words to his children were, "I love you, good night, I will see you in the morning."
This nigga Jason, bro. This nigga Jason, bro. What in the... I'll just be quiet, bro.